Chapter 9, 198. Wilbur slashed around when he had the Thunder Cleaver in hand. A few undead creatures suddenly fell to the ground after a roaring storm. Then Wilbur turned around to handle a few undead creatures behind him. Their battle ended in an instant. The Thunder Cleaver immediately attracted Basan's attention. He seemed surprised. Goma was instantly in awe of the Thunder Cleaver. The weapon had an extravagant appearance with lightning and thunder, so it looked very cool. Goma had a large machete as his weapon, too. It was not hard to tell that he liked the Thunder Cleaver from his greedy eyes. Basan looked at his son after his initial surprise. He silently scoffed. Then spiritual energy erupted from his body again. 5 stone giants growled and ran forward. They smashed the undead creatures to bits. Suddenly, the Death Lord growled again. The gray mist moved around in the hall. Hundreds of undead creatures appeared, and the Death Lord led the attack. Basan immediately sent 3 stone giants to face the Death Lord, while 2 of the stone giants protected himself and his son. More than 10 undead creatures fought the 2 stone giants. The rest of the undead creatures sprinted toward Wilbur and Ryder. Basan smirked coldly inside. Wilbur noticed it, but he also smirked coldly. He summoned the Book of Sequence. The power of the Death Lord was not something the stone giants could fight against. Its long sword slashed through with terrifying power. Each slash took off a huge chunk from the stone giants. A stone giant shattered and fell after a few attacks. Basan noticed it, so he chanted again. Spiritual energy surged within him and kicked up gusts of wind in the hall. Wilbur flipped open the Book of Sequence at that moment. A blinding chain of lightning bolts came out from it. Over a dozen undead creatures were wiped out with the huge roar of thunder. They were hit by a chain of lightning bolts. A few that survived sprinted toward Wilbur, but they were also slashed to bits by the Thunder Cleaver. Wilbur ended the battle almost instantly. Wilbur was satisfied with the performance of the Book of Sequence. It was indeed a good item. He could store his usual spells inside and unleash the spells when he needed them. He would not need to exhaust his spiritual energy during battle. It was remarkable. Goma was astounded. He could not believe the wonderful items Wilbur carried with him. The greed in his eyes was unconcealable. The Death Lord defeated 3 stone giants, and it sprinted toward Basan. However, Basan had completed another spell. A surge of spiritual energy appeared in the hall, and a tall stone giant, roughly 8 meters in height, suddenly appeared. The stone giant was larger than the Death Lord. It was covered in runes, and it had a raging energy. It ran towards the Death Lord. The battle was not over yet. Basan shouted, and the spiritual flames around him surged upward. He kept chanting spells and moving his arms around like he was dancing. The stone giant glowed in the different colored lights as his arms moved. He cast the Strength spell, Agility spell, and Rampaging Heart spell together. He stacked all sorts of support spells on the stone giant.